Throughout the ages, philosophers and thinkers alike have undergone intense psychological rigor and pondered many of life's most essential yet mostly unanswerable questions. If a tree falls but no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? How many solutions does y double prime squared plus 1 equals 0 have in the real number system? Can Spider-Man withstand a kick from Chun-Li's log legs? Of course, it goes without saying that the reality of fiction is no more coherent than our reality in this regard. Fans for eons have pondered many a mystery, but because of the unfortunate reality that crossovers are a rare glory, their curiosity will never be satisfied. Oh sure, thanks to Square and Disney, we now have the answer to the question, can Donald Duck withstand a strike from Cloud's Buster Sword? And we all know the answer to that is, hell nah. Though in the extreme majority of cases, as crossovers are rarely ever artistically and financially feasible and remain only a reality in the most fervent of fanboy minds, most of the answers to these questions remain forever lost to oblivion. However, there remains those wonderfully rare exceptions when two execs meet and magic happens. Here, capitalizing on the fact that Marvel and Capcom mesh together better than peanut butter and jelly, mayo and tuna, Disney and Japanese pretty boys, and other things, is the third in the trilogy to the epic crossover classic, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. God damn it, I need some water. Of course, it goes without saying that the MVC series draws its power from the allure of its cast. Whilst any game is obliged to properly nail core fundamentals, here good gaming mechanics and graphics exist only to complement the fascination of seeing the likes of Storm and Ryu exchanging fisticuffs. And of course, who wasn't expecting Chun-Li, Akuma, Wolverine, and Deadpool to sneak their way into the main cast? We all know fanboys will run amok if they don't have some badass quotes from the big boy in red, and I generally have no complaints. Although he seemed to have sacrificed a lot of brute force from his days in Street Fighter in favor of speed and Chun-Li as well, Chun-Li. But I couldn't help but notice that for a third installment in the series, some of the character choices here were lacking in flavor. I mean, X-23, Tron again, whatever the hell this thing is. Why not go for Doc Ock, Mega Man, Electro, Red Skull? Is it too much to ask for Electro or Black Cat to grace us with their femme fatale presence? It goes without saying that some of these matches are hardly worthy of pay-per-view, and I couldn't be more disappointed. And looking at the roster and seeing that Sentinel still managed to make his way in, it seems that Capcom is not a company that likes to learn from their mistakes. It's bad enough it took them 3 times and they still don't know that a character with horrendously unfair reach is worthy of James Rolfe's, you know it's bullshit. But I don't care. A brain-damaged monkey could logically deduce that this is some bullshit. What's the most important aspect of any fighting game, I ask? Well, of course, the fighting, you answer. To which I reply, no, not necessarily. Sometimes witnessing the glory of seeing two certain fighters fight can be every bit as great as controlling the fight itself. Although Capcom doesn't quite capitalize on the potential for some really unique brouhahas, at the very least, the fighting itself is goddamn great. Let it be known that the controls here have been simplified. A wide variety of extremely impressive moves are easily summarized into a simple and small variety of inputs, most likely to emphasize more visceral, bare-bones back-and-forth action. In spite of this, there still exists enough choice and gambles to keep the player immersed. It's also worth mentioning that the game's arsenal here is extremely balanced, and that nearly every character feels unbalanced. No matter what trio is chosen, the player will be offered a sense of true force and power. Certain trios had that special oomph to them in past fighters. Here that oomph is given to all. Although Welcome Edition is certainly something that Marvel vs. Capcom 3 seems to somewhat lack. It's understandable though disappointing that the game has 20 less characters than its predecessor and only 4 unlockables. Outside the extremely likable Symbol mode, where controls are simplified for the easygoing gamer, and Mission mode, which tests your abilities in combos and special moves, there's really not that much outside the core fighting experience. Not many crazy ideas and modes that seem so comparatively heavy in other Capcom games, especially Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, or hell, the friggin' prequels. And in regards to its much anticipated story mode, well, remember when you saw Magneto grab hold of the T-Virus? That's pretty much the only intrigue you'll feel in the game. Okay, let's get the obvious out of the way. The graphics are good. Who'd have thunk it? It of course gets extra points on the holy crap scale due to the fact that the art design literally resembles that of a graphic novel, and whilst it does appeal heavily to the personal comic geek fanboy in me, I don't deny the presentation here works from a technical, unbiased perspective. Sure, there's some uninteresting aesthetics and worlds here and obnoxious voices there, especially in your friendly neighborhood nasally voiced jackass. But there's never a moment where you don't wish you could enter this flashy kinetic world and fight alongside the characters. Ultra Hyper combos are extremely memorable, as are the audio and written quotes from the characters. Audio offers a sense of stretch and strain during every fight, and quotes stay true to the personalities of the characters. Did you know Spider-Man can be funny? Capcom did. A stupendous hodgepodge of anime girls and robots, metallic clawed psychos, big red monsters, and other things, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 offers a tantalizing mix of two different worlds that proves some things work better in pairs. Although it doesn't quite capitalize on its crossover potential thanks to a banal story and ultimately lackluster cast, it doesn't deny us the magic of seeing Spider-Man and Ryu duking it out, marred with spot-on battle mechanics and presentation. For all its shortcomings, at the end of the day, I deem Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as worthy bang for your buck.